Hey, welcome to the Social 333 podcast. I'm your host, Chris Bentley, and today my guest is Frankie Manes. Frankie,
Hello.
welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Chris. I'm super excited to be here, man.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Tell the audience a little bit about yourself and what you got going on.
Hey there, I'm Frankie Manes. I'm the social media and influencer marketing director at Media 43, which is a part of Fig Advertising, and we are a full-service advertising and marketing company.
Frankie, you're also a former celebrity.
Oh, that's generous.
Yeah.
That's generous. Macaulay Culkin was a little bit bigger than me as a kid, but yeah, I'll take it.
It was funny. We were just kind of talking off air about just people reaching out, and I've experienced a lot of like weirdness. Like I had a guy on the show. He used to be like on Mike Tyson's when he was doing like the weed shop and stuff like that, and like working with him. He worked with a couple other people as well, and celebrities. And we were just talking. He was on was it Food Star with Chef Gordon Ramsay?
Oh yeah,
like he won the show, and he was talking about some crazy stuff where like you'll be out doing something and just people like recognize you. And I've had that where it's just weird stuff.
Yeah.
I know this doesn't have anything to do with business, but we'll get to that here in a second. But like I've experienced some weird stuff, and I'm not even anywhere near the celebrity that you are, right? But like I'll be walking my dog, and some people will see me in the elevator, and they'll be like,
"You're the guy,"
and they just won't say anything. And I'll be like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" And they'll be like, "Hey," right? And then like I get off the elevator, and I'll get like a ting on my Facebook, and it was like, "Hey, like I was in the elevator with you and your dog. Like I just wanted to say hi." And you're just like, you were just in the elevator.
Why didn't you say hi? I just had this happen actually with a client. They did the same thing on Instagram. Somebody was so nervous to say hi, and then he had to go back and forth via DMs with them and was like, "I'll send the video to your daughter that you wanted to ask me for but didn't." But yeah, no, it's weird. I haven't gotten recognized in a long time because I was a young kid when I was on commercials. I think the last time I got recognized for anything was back when Vine was popular.
Oh, really?
I had a couple good viral Vines back in the day, and I knew that was the coolest moment ever when somebody was like, "You're the guy from the Vine," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm being recognized. Yeah, I am the guy from the Vine." But that's gone now.
It's difficult because he was talking about how somebody will like record him. Like he helped this lady, like she didn't have any money, so he bought her like a slice of pizza. He's a New Yorker, right?
Yeah.
So like he bought him her a slice of pizza and like a drink, and everybody's like on the phone. And then as soon as he leaves, he gets like all these DMs, emails, calls, whatever, of like a video of him like helping this lady like get a cheese pizza. And he was like, just odd.
Yeah. It's a weird world. I mean, everybody has their phones and ability to do stuff, and like privacy doesn't exist anymore. Like I've done so many consults with clients, and they're like, "Hey, I really want to grow and I really want to build my brand and like be an actor, but I don't want to be public. Like I want to be private. I don't want anybody to know anything about me." And I was like, "Well, your best bet to do that then is tear up your social security card, sell your home, move to the mountains, destroy your phone, all the chips, everything like that. And also I would start by not being on national TV where people can see you all the time and know you for being, a brand representative." So it's always just a little bit like, I think we're kind of past that age now.
Yeah, it's tough. It's gotten to the point where I think it's a little out of control. Like I have this reel, or I actually have a short, where I talk about, and I think it's a reel too. It's like somebody saw Mark Cuban, and this is when his wife was pregnant, and he ran, and back when 7-Eleven used to sell loaves of bread, he ran into 7-Eleven to go get like a loaf of bread and some milk for his wife. And he's like checking out, and everybody's like, "Holy cow, it's Mark Cuban." And then it's like, "He drinks milk and needs bread." and they're like, "Oh my God." And like everybody's like, "Mark, like I didn't know you like ate bread." And he was like, "I'm a human being."
Yeah. Like I'm a normal person,
I've heard some AI stories too, like Allen Iverson, like he'll be out like
oh yeah,
shopping at like Walmart, and somebody will run up to him and be like, "Hey, Alan, like, I didn't know, like, you would be here." And he's like, "Why?" Like, "I need to shop for food, too, just like you." And they're like, "Like, crazy.
Yeah. Well, my favorite AI ones now are people will be like, AI is said to be doing this now. And it's like, whoa, Allen Iverson's really, really getting out there. He's really going past basketball. It's like, that's the best. Yeah. Online, I will say that I think this is one of the funniest periods of time ever, because you can like the jokes with the content is just it's like unquantifiable. Like you could have all of the memes, all of the jokes, all of the videos, all, fake or real or anything.
I think the craziest stuff I watch is, well, I used to watch it, but it's like my ex-girlfriend had TikTok, and she would like scroll all the time, and it would be like stuff in like Walmart. People just go to Walmart and record like the stupidest stuff. And then it gets like seen by like a million people, and people are like, oh, that was really funny. And it was like, it costs like $0. I think they pay them like a couple bucks after like the skit is done, because it's just random people.
Well, you never know, because now also too, and I deal with this a lot in my business, is if you do a brand deal, you're technically supposed to tag the brand, you're supposed to put #ad, you're supposed to do specific things. And even now you have to add a branded partnership as a piece of content through one of the settings when you post it. A lot of people don't do that. And then now you're also talking about affiliate marketing, where it's like, hey, if you post this video talking about Walmart or whatever company it is, and then it gets 1 million views, we'll pay you a portion of that. And then you posted it, so you get money off the content. Like, it's just a very, like, it's the wild, wild west right now with all this stuff.
Yeah. And that's kind of really why I wanted to bring you on, because there's so much going on, not only with AI, but with marketing. We talked about faceless YouTube videos. Like, I started a channel, just try to I like trying stuff to see, how it works, what it works. That way, like, I have a better understanding of stuff. I think I'm just trying to be a more well-rounded person, but
good for you, man. That's great. We need more people like that.
When you get into social media, when you get into influencer marketing, when you get into just marketing in general, because I have a real estate company and I see it all the time. It's like somebody will be like, okay, well, this is a year, like, I'm going to really do it this year. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, what are you going to do? And they're like, oh, like, I'm going to do, I don't know, we just talked about TikTok, right? So, like, I'm going to do TikToks all day. And I'm going to do, let's just say 2 TikToks a day, morning and the evening. And I'm going to go, like, do house tours and talk about the market or whatever it is, right? And then I'm like, okay, cool. And they're like, I'm going to do that like every day for the next, year. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a lot of TikToks.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you're like managing it. You got people like asking you questions. You got people, maybe hating on you. You got like a lot of stuff going on, and you're not even selling any real estate. You're focused on creating content.
Right.
Which I do a lot of, right? So I focus a lot on creating content. And then it's like, well, like, what do you have? What is your skill? Is your skill creating content and being funny like there's people at Walmart? Or is your content or your skill like selling homes? Like
100%.
Right.
And I always look at the people where it's like, I heard this the other day on a meeting, and somebody said, the cobbler's son has the worst shoes. And I always actually look for companies that have sometimes, like, if they're in that space, I want them to be bad at that thing because they're working too hard. Like, my social media right now objectively is terrible. Like, my last 3 posts I think are, I got engaged, I won a golf tournament, and then like a collab with the company. And I'm like, I don't have time to focus on my thing because all I do is care about the clients, and I'm doing everything for the clients all day. Now, could that be to my detriment? Of course. Have I built up a decent following that's like good enough and maybe have squandered that? But I'm not trying to be a content creator anymore. That's in a past life. And now I'm trying to help others. And it's like, it's more of that tool, and I do enough to know exactly what I need to do. But if I were spending too much time on it, then it would be at a disservice to our clients.
What do you think some of the misconceptions for social media is? Because I've dealt with, I'm not a social media like advertiser or stuff like, doing the stuff that you do, but the people that I go to networking events or host networking events, and I got people that are plumbers, electricians, the full gambit, home inspectors, like we were talking about, right? So then you get like a home inspector, and they're going to be like, okay, well, I'm going to start posting on wherever space about home inspections. And then what usually happens is what?
Yeah.
They give up.
Yeah. You get, it's a lot of people look at social media like it's the new year. I'm going to go to the gym. And we're like, no, you're not. You're going to go and then you're going to stop. But that's always one of the things too, where like the best time to start is now. And if you quit, like I tell people all the time, if you stop doing this, you go back to zero. It only takes a couple weeks max to get out of the algorithm and ruin everything you've done. Like the worst thing you could do with advertising and marketing is give up, because it's like every, we're talking about memes and content, the guy digging for the gold and he gives up and the next guy comes in and then he's right there and he hits it.
I've just kind of come to the point where if I'm going to start something, then I have to see it through.
Yeah.
Whatever marketing it is. So like I'm doing a lot of YouTube stuff and like I'm doing the podcast, and we were just talking about it at the studio, that it's a lot of work. And a lot of people come in with the perception that like, hey, like I'm just going to have conversations with people. I'm not going to have to deal with people not showing up or people like not having time or, all the myriad of issues, not posting, like taking some time off and not being able to post. Like I've done it all.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, man. And that's also the thing too, we're kind of talking about it, but I don't want my plumber to be on social media. I want the guy who comes to my house or a woman who fixes the toilet to be exceptional at that thing. And I want them to know that they need marketing and hire the marketing people. And, at our company, Real Fig Advertising and Marketing, like the best thing is it's about finding the niche and finding what works, because social media might not be the thing that every company needs. They might need SEO, right? You might need link building, or you might need LinkedIn outreach, or you might just need a new website, right? We're full service advertising and marketing and work with clients on what exactly they need that's the right fit. And I also, the biggest flaw I see in people is when they don't know or identify their niche. And I think that is a bit of an issue, because if you're trying to do 13 things, 5 things, like I don't trust the person that is, and not saying you do this, because having multiple sources of income and multiple hobbies is great, but the person who says, oh, hey, I'm a professional editor, and also I do some social media, and I can help you with your website. And by the way, too, I just got my real estate license, and I do Postmates sometimes, and I pick a couple of shifts up at the bar. Oh, I also do some handyman work. It's like, okay, you're just trying to have a job. And I understand a lot of people start that way, but if you don't ever niche down and go, hey, maybe let me get out of the bar, the handyman thing, I'm not going to advertise that. I'm just going to do that. But maybe I focus on the editing, content creation, social media. And then I also do some real estate, because those two things can pair well together. And I can meet potential clients doing real estate. And then I can get real estate clients doing the media, the editing, the social media, whatever it is, right? And I think that's a big flaw that I see with people, is they try to branch out too much. And then you confuse people. You confuse the algorithm. You confuse your potential customers.
I think there was a book like The Power of One or something like that, where it's just they just talk about having like the one thing. I met so many people at networking events that are like the Swiss Army knife of like everything.
Yeah.
Like they're like, oh, like I could do insurance. And you're like, okay, cool. And they're like, oh, no. Well, like, and then they'll turn around to you and they'll be like, oh, like I could do loans. And then they're like, okay, well, and then they're like, oh, I could do real estate. And you're like, well, like, which one do you really do? And it's just kind of a, getting stuck with, doing or just having a lot of licenses but not really selling anything.
No, and what I found too, this is the best advice I ever got, and it was actually from the Chamber of Commerce I'm at, North Dallas Chamber of Commerce, shout out, great place, join. If you have to know the room you're walking into and what you're selling to that room, because I could tell people, hey, I'm an actor, I'm a producer, I also do improv and I do some social media, and we could do your website, and here are all the things my company does. But also too, I'm really into golf, and then I do this. If you give them too much stuff, it overwhelms them, and then they don't think about you seriously in one area. Mm-hmm. If I'm walking into a room at a networking event or whatever, I have made a decision before I walk into that room of what thing I am going to pitch that day. Because like I said, our company's full service and we can tell everybody that, and that's great. But if I'm walking into a room and this is a social media play, if I'm at a networking event in LA, it's probably going to be influencers, right? I'm probably going to play up that. But it totally depends because you need to know your audience.
Right.
And if you don't know what you're selling and who you're selling to, that's why, it doesn't work out a lot of times.
I walked into a M&A company or M&A networking mergers acquisition, and they're like, "Oh, Chris, like, what do you do?" I was like, "Oh, I sell real estate." And like the whole room is mergers and acquisitions and people trying to sell their company or people that are looking to buy. And then they're like, "Okay, cool." And they're like, back turn, let me get a drink real quick, and I was just like, oh man. But yeah, you definitely need to know what room you're working. And then talking about social media, the biggest thing I've seen is that a lot of people that are younger, because I'm going to be 48, right? Like I didn't have
not a day over 46, by the way.
I didn't have, thank you. I didn't have social media when I was growing up. So like I wasn't born into social media, and a lot of the younger generation is. And what I've seen is the younger generation is all about social media, and they think that they're the next influencer, they're the next person. I mean, I've seen some pretty wild stuff. Like on TikTok, they have, my ex-girlfriend follows some lady that has like 4 dogs and 3 cats, or maybe it's 5 cats and 2 dogs. And it's something ridiculous. And she goes about her day, and she gets like coffee, and the coffee people, like she gives a shout out to them. And then she gets like chicken nuggets, and she gives a shout out to them. And then they get
for her or the dogs.
I don't know. And then they got like cat food, and it gives a shout out to like Purina, right? Like, and it has a lot of different stuff. And then, they have like TikTok Shop, which is like another thing. And I think a lot of people that are younger think that they're going to be an influencer, or they're going to start a company with no inventory because like they saw a TikTok Shop. Where do you kind of see this whole younger generation of entrepreneurs, potential business owners, like people that really don't have a clue, maybe like, influencers?
Yeah.
Where do you see that?
I think that's a huge problem right now, because the way that I've been seeing it more is I'm a big sports guy, and everybody wants their kid to be a professional athlete. Every kid wants to be a professional athlete. I thought I was going to be a football player. You can tell I was never going to be an NFL player. Okay. And the reality of becoming a professional athlete is 1% of the 1%, right? The reality of becoming an actual like pay your bills forever influencer, musician, everything now, especially influencer, celebrity, is 1% of the 1%. Okay. The amount of kids that you grow up seeing on Disney Channel, a lot of my friends were blessed enough to have that opportunity. It doesn't come to everybody. And then you have to not squander that opportunity. And you have to get lucky that your show hits and that people see it and they bring you back for another show. And then you grow up and then you get to do another show. It's so hard to actually do this. I tried. I did YouTube. I did Vine. I did TikTok for a while. And I woke up one day and I was like, I don't think this is for me, because I didn't have that switch in terms of the content creation day to day. And a lot of people don't. And that's what we were talking about, right? Is you got to know what threshold of work and, experience you can get and have. And also, how much are you willing to take of no? Because it might not be 3 months. If you think you're going to go viral in 3 months, you need to have a crazy budget and know a lot of people. And if you wait 3 years, yeah, it could happen. You could build up a business. You could build up that inventory. But I think it's, I never want to tell anybody to not do anything, but I think that there's a big misconception that, some random kid in Arizona started doing TikTok and made it. Yeah, of course. But how many artists have one great song and then we never hear from them?
It's the same thing with the podcast. I've seen a lot of people start podcasts and they fail, or they just stop doing it. We had the faceless YouTube video stuff.
Yeah.
Like everybody wants to be Mr. Beast and make, hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's just
millions. He's making millions.
Right? It's just, I think the longevity part of it is really the problem that a lot of people have.
Of course.
It's like, okay, well, Frankie, if I were to give you $1 million, but you have to do this for the next 20 years, every single day of your life for the next 20 years, would you do it? And there's like all those like people where they like raise their hand. Would you like to?
Is it $1 million per year or $1 million total for all 12 years?
Right.
Dude, you could get a better job being a manager at McDonald's. You'd make more if you were a manager at McDonald's than $1 million for 12 years. That's silly.
Yeah.
Always take the lump sum in the lottery too, or don't take the lump sum. Take it over time.
But I think that's where a lot of people get hung up on is like they don't see that how long Mr. Beast has been producing
forever.
Content. Like how long a lot of these podcasts have been shooting for a long time.
I mean, I'm not a massive fan of them. I know people that know them, but like the Paul brothers. The Paul brothers were two brothers that filmed everything they did and started out on YouTube when YouTube was just getting going. And then they built it up, and then they went to Vine, and then they went to TikTok, and then they built it up. And they were like, now we have the audience. Now we need to go actually make money. So then they went into real estate, and now they're doing boxing. And, you know, whatever you think of them, positive or negative, I'm good on either side. But like, they have done that thing where they haven't stopped. They took one thing, they grew it, and then they rolled it over, right? My new favorite guy, I don't know if you come across this guy, the School of Hard Knocks guy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's genius. He's a genius. He brings you in. He's so nice and he's just so into it. And he interviews the millionaire or billionaires. He goes, hey there, how you doing? When did you make your first $1 million? I love it. And it's so great. And he connects with those people. Like connect with people. That's the other thing too, is your network is your net worth. And you know, I mean, I could ramble about this.
He did that for a long time, though.
Long time.
Before he even got anywhere near where he's at right now. Because I looked at his stuff, and he's been doing it for a long. I mean, I think he did the stuff too, where like he'd go up to somebody when he was like they're driving, and like be like, "Yo, roll down the window. Like, how'd you buy this car?
Yes.
What do you do for work?"
Yeah.
And they would be like, you know, I saw jet planes or something, right? And they'd be like, "Oh, cool. Like, how do you do that? Blah blah blah." And it's literally maybe like 5 minutes before like the next light, you know, turns green. Yeah. And like that would be his video. Yeah.
It's crazy. And I mean, also too, I mean, whoever your favorite comedian or actor is, I promise you that they struggled. And they have 100 stories and moments where they were like, I almost quit or I thought I was going to make it. And that's what it is. Nobody talks about it. Nobody sees it, but it's all the ice under the water of the iceberg is the work. You just see the top.
That was something I wanted to ask you. When you were in the celebrity phase or when you were doing like stand-up and stuff like that, what did you do to not give up? Like, what was it like that everybody has like a why or like a moment that Steve Harvey talks about his moment where like, you know, the phone rang and it was like, what was it? It was a stand-up comedy, Def Comedy Jam.
Oh, yeah.
And, right, and he got his call, and he went, and he knocked it out of the park with the Mike Tyson joke. And then he became, like, a host. But he was, like, you know, he was dead broke. He was on the road. He was living out of his car. Like, you know, it was a bad situation. Like, his story, I think, is very, very real, at least to me. But I think his story is, like, great for a lot of people that struggle.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, look, like, this is what I'm going to be. I'm going to die on the beach. You know, I had this, like, there's this meme from, no, not a meme, but it was a reel from these Navy SEALs guys talking about buds. And they're like, well, here's the thing. Like, buds is very calculated. Everybody asks me what it's like to be buds. I've never been to buds. I'm not a Navy SEAL. But he was talking about it, and he was like, look, they count how many push-ups you do. They count how long you run. They count how many pull-ups. All this stuff. They count all that stuff. It's like a school, right? That's what they send you to, a school. So they know all that stuff. And then millions of people, or, you know, people before you went through that school. Why would they let you die on the beach of hypothermia?
Yeah.
Why would they do it? Right? So if you know that, and he's like, your teeth could be chattering, you could be, you know, chipping teeth all day long, you could be, you know, freezing, you can have hypothermia, whatever it is, just like, don't quit.
Yeah.
Like, you have an opportunity to say something and ring the bell, don't. You know, just like shut up and
deal
just
with
take it. And then there'll be, you know, another course or another meal or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Is that kind of how like you approached it?
Yeah, I think, you know, for me, like I grew up very uniquely. Like my mom was a very successful actress. She's been on almost every show. She's been in episodes of Friends and Seinfeld. She's on national commercials all the time. So I grew up in it. The first job I ever got when I was 4 was because I went into an audition room with my mom because I was crying. and she couldn't leave me in the lobby. So I sat on her lap, and then I got all cute. And then she did the audition. Her agent called her the next day, and they said, hey, bad news, you didn't get the job. Good news is they need a kid, and they thought Frankie Joe was so cute, they want to hire him. So that's how I got my first job. And I got very lucky where I was very into it, and my mom was very supportive, and I could do it with school, but I did a lot of commercials and stuff when I was a kid. And then I took a break. I took a long break to do sports. I got back into it. Would audition all the time, had some more commercials and success. And then it was very slow, and I didn't do it as much. I went on and off, and, I got to a point where I wouldn't say I've given it up, but it's not my focus anymore. And I think that that's fine, because you look at a reality, right? Where it's like, at some point you have to stop trying to be a professional athlete. Like I played volleyball in junior college and college. I knew I wasn't that good, but I knew I could be a good teammate and I could do my job very well. And I did that for as long as I could, but I wasn't going to go overseas and try to play. I was Division III on the bench. Like, you got to have that self-awareness. And so I also realized too, what I love more is what I'm doing now with our company and the services that we sell and the people that we can help and the businesses that we're working with. I love that more than trying to do, a local church's chicken or, a Shields commercial. Right. As much as I love those, it's great. But now if somebody calls me, and they're like, hey, we got a spot, I know them personally, it works out a little bit better, and I prefer that. But I think it's less about quitting and more realizing what your path is. Like, I don't think, that this was going to be my path forever. And I just pivoted. I still do it. I still love it. But I also thought that I was going to be on SNL when I was a kid.
Right.
And I took improv classes. And, I am not on SNL or trying to be anymore. But at some point, that was a thought.
One of the biggest things that I run into is that a lot of people get into, like, the actual purpose, like, versus their skill, right? So, going back to, let's say, like, my childhood, right? Like, I wanted to be a WWE wrestler, right? When I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the coolest thing. Back then it was like WWF, right? But I thought it was the coolest thing ever with, like, Randy Macho Man and Savage and, like, Hulk Hogan. Well, like, obviously I'm not cut out for that, right?
Yeah.
And, I think a lot of people have, like, their purpose in life, but really, like, they have a skill and they should work that skill. So, like, if Steve Harvey talks about this all the time, like, if you want to be a millionaire, it's really easy to be a millionaire. Not for everybody, right? But it's easy to be a millionaire. Like, you would, if you're really good at, let's say, doing hair or baking pies or frying fish, whatever it is, right? And you do that enough, well, guess what? Like, eventually you'll become a millionaire. Unless you, like, screw up somewhere in between.
Right.
Versus somebody saying, like, hey, like, my purpose is being an influencer. My purpose is doing this. But yet, like, they don't get any views, or they're getting a small amount of views, or people are just making fun of them because they're just doing stupid things, like the people at Walmart, right? Not the people that work there, but the skits at Walmart. What do you really think about something like that?
To me, I mean, I love what you said about Steve, because right now with AI and with the internet, excuses are gone. I started a company in COVID in Los Angeles with no clients, no budget, no revenue. I just started it. And I was like, I need a job. I'm going to do it. I built it up for 5 years. It got to an amazing point, and I decided that I wanted to expand even more. And that's when I was acquired by Real Fig Advertising and Marketing. And now it's bigger and better than it has been. Or we have more things, we can do more. And I think with that is a lot of people try to find excuses. And if you're always looking for an excuse, I think, Tim Robbins, right? The motivation guy. Right. He always says that. He goes, he did it with Theo Vaughn on his podcast, where it's like, look for all the red things, right? What you're looking for, what you're telling yourself is what's going to happen. If you think you're going to be successful, if you think you can achieve it, if you want to do it, it may not happen, but it will help, right? But we're in such an incredible time with social media and connecting and, all the platforms and what you can do in person with people. And I think people are naturally good and they want to help other people. If you're just a good person, people will help you. Like, ask people to help you. Ask for their contact information. School of Hard Knocks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do that, because the worst thing that happens is people say no. And if they say no, it was already a no before you asked.
Mm-hmm.
So you might as well ask the question, right? And I think it's a lot of it is just effort and drive,
Frankie, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, maybe learn more about advertising and your company, how would they go about doing that?
You can get in touch with me in multiple different ways. We're Media 43 Official on all social media platforms. You can visit us at www.media43.com or reach out to Real Fig Advertising and Marketing.
Frankie, I appreciate you being on the show.
Hey, man, thank you so much for having me. This was awesome. We'll do it again sometime.
Absolutely.
Love it.